Hello everyone, it's Catherine. How you doing? As we begin this Mercury retrograde season, I'm going to share this to a couple groups just because. Let's see. Oh, why not? We'll share it there too. Oh, why not? We'll share it there too. So today, I struggled for a good half hour, 40 minutes to try to pull out all the stops, get all of my tricks together to try to get my internet to work so that I could teach class on Wednesdays. Through the end of this year, I teach a class called Tao, the Divine Disruptor. And I'm sharing this in that group so you can have a little backstory. And I wasn't able to get the internet working, and it was down all day. Right now I'm actually at my house, but I'm on my neighbor's Wi-Fi, which they were gracious enough to give me the password for, because I still have no... Oh look, there's a squirrel. He was just perving on us. He was on the roof watching. I don't know if you guys caught that. All the animals come out when I talk. Anyway, so I couldn't get my internet working, and I had one of those, what I call FML, fuck my life moments, because I was like, hey, universe, help me out here. I'm doing some good by teaching this course. I'm doing some good by teaching this program. Help me out, get my internet going. Nothing worked. Nothing worked. So in that moment, you know what? I was like, I can bitch and moan about it and cause a fuss, or I can take a deep breath, contact my people, hey Crystal, and say, hey guys, I got to reschedule. Let's try this again on Friday. And I just had to bail. Sometimes you have to make the decision. Sometimes you just have to bail on something that isn't working, and you can't force it. And even though the title of this talk, and I will get a little bit more into the meat and potatoes of that in a second. The title of this talk is, the need that you feel to heal is actually a trauma response, and to heal right now and be everything now, that's a trauma response. The same is true if you feel like you're doing really good work in your life and you want to do it all now. You want to have it so you can benefit all your people who show up and try to get the most out of you and get the most for themselves out of the work that you share, and you want to do it all now. You can feel that kind of frustration as well. I do. I offer a lot of stuff. I offer a lot of programs. I have courses, I have books, I have master classes, I have videos, I have guided meditations, all the things. And I used to operate from this misplaced sense of urgency of like, I gotta help heal everybody now. I gotta do all the things now. I gotta get it all done now. And I realized how toxic that was, number one, and how misplaced that is, number two. Misplaced in the sense that when you have that kind of response that you want to do it all now, and especially when it comes to our own healing or our own personal growth and to becoming more, the need to do it all now is a trauma response. And it's a trauma response that really comes from being subservient to the mind's trap of time, and the body's trap of time too, rather than doing your great work and being a servant of the heart. So it's a trauma response in the sense that if you feel locked down in your consciousness to whatever you're trying to heal or move through or grow into at this moment, and you feel like you have to do it all now, it's got to be in this moment, it's got to be this week, it's got to be this month, it's got to be this year, take a deep breath and understand that your entire life of living in this duality of the perceived simulation of being separate from God is a healing response. I did a really great talk yesterday in my Visionaries group about healing and choosing that as a lifestyle choice rather than as something that you feel is a burden, or some you've got to wear this mantle constantly of I'm always healing, I'm perpetually in a state of healing. Well, we all are, and it doesn't stop. So in the sense that you feel this crunch of time to do it all, heal it all, be it all, you're operating with a disconnected sense of the infinite eternal aspect of you that is always evolving, is always growing through different experiences of healing or upgrade or up level or otherwise. And healing is an up level, by the way. It doesn't ever stop because you're an eternal, you're an infinite being. And just because we have such a keen sense of it right now with the major pivot that Earth is experiencing, we may be feeling this kind of urgency or this trauma response in a much keener sense than we ever have. But it's because we're moving through time and timelines quickly, more quickly now on this planet than we ever have before. And the trauma response that you feel to do it all now, you are relying on the mind's illusory construct of time to tell you that, you know, I've only got so long to heal. I've only got so long to upgrade into this version of me. When the cosmic part of you, the galactic you, is trying to tell you, there's no rush. There's absolutely no rush. You don't have anywhere to be. There is no better version of you, not really, in the sense that if you can imagine it, you have already arrived at that destination. Because how you imagine it is unique and individuated to your own perception of self. So no one's withholding that from you out there somewhere, and if you don't hurry up and get it, you're not going to have it. If you can imagine a better version of you, then you can be it now. And again, it's the illusory construct of time that is somehow creating this buffer between the you are now and the desired version of you later, whatever that means. It's a completely illusory construct. And as we're on this major Earth pivot of moving very quickly through timelines, old ways of being that have held constructs, systems, paradigms of being in place that have been less than wholesome, less than beneficial for humanity, the more we go through that, and the more we untether and release ourselves from identifying with those systems, it's going to feel like, in the body and in the mind, like this sense of urgency. That's not what it is, though. If you understand the core of anxiety and the kind of response the mind and the body has to anxiety, you kind of release the same chemical cascade as you do when you're excited. So excitement and anxiety really go hand in hand. And you may be thinking that you are in this anxiety or trauma response, and it will feel like that in the body, and the mind will tell you you're having a trauma response. But it can be really confusing sometimes because it actually might be excitement. Excitement because there's all this new stuff coming in, all these new energies, all these new light codes hitting the planet. It's extremely exciting. When we can slow down enough from this sense of, and it's really just this hangover of constantly marking our lives by the to-do lists and the things we check off on a to-do list. You know, we've created so much of our identity around that. And when we're involved in a spiritual awakening or an enlightenment process, we tend to treat it the same way, but it's not the same thing at all. You're not checking things off of a to-do list in order to say, oh, now I'm enlightened. Oh, I'm spiritually woke. It doesn't work that way. Yes, you can go through different healing responses, different healing processes, and that will often feel like you're moving through something, right? And you'll have the sense of this kind of linear movement of okay, I was over there and now I'm over here and this is great, I'm actually going somewhere. But even that is illusory. Even that is a false construct. And if we keep marking the prevalence or the importance of our spiritual awakening in this way, in this linear construct, you're kind of dooming yourself to always feeling like, well, there's always going to be more to heal. There's always more to become. Instead of being satisfied with and celebrating even who you are right now. So bringing this back around to how I started this call, I decided to celebrate. Celebrate the fact that I didn't need to sit at a computer for an hour and a half. And not that I don't love teaching. Those of you who know me, you know I love to teach. You know that it is my zone of genius. I live for it. I fucking love it so much. But I looked at today's opportunity to not have Wi-Fi and internet access, to get out and experience more of this town, which I don't get to do that often. And I went to a cat cafe and I got to pet cats for an hour, and I went to one of my favorite pubs and did a little work that I couldn't do on my computer by using their Wi-Fi, and brought my laptop with me. My messages are blowing up right now. I got to drive around town and go for a walk around a beautiful lake, and I got to meet some nice people, and it was an overall pretty surprising and really fulfilling experience to let go of where I felt I was being punished by the universe by not being able to teach my class, and where I got to let go of feeling bad about not showing up for my people today. I got the opportunity to see that, you know, there can be a day that still feels productive, even if the things on my to-do list did not come to pass. It's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. So you might be caught up in the moment about, God, I got to do all this stuff. I got to heal all these things. I got to fix myself. I'm broken. All of this other shit that we tell ourselves, that's garbage. It's mental garbage. Can you celebrate right now and be with who you are and say, you know what? I'm good. I'm good with who I am. I'm good with everything that I've done to get myself here. Fuck, I'm still kicking. I'm still breathing. I'm still knocking around. The universe hasn't figured a way to dismantle me completely yet. Can you celebrate everything that got you to where you are? Because it is in that spirit, it is in that energy that we have the jet fuel to become more. Instead of looking at everything that we have to do, everything we have to become, everything we have to heal from a place of lack, which is not fuel at all, by the way, and it's an opposite energy to what you're striving for. If you can be in the celebratory place, if you can be in the place of, okay, this didn't work out, but what is working? Well, what was working for me was I live in a beautiful town in the Pacific Northwest where people are really freaking friendly, and it's a beautiful place, and I have a car that I have at my disposal, and I can take off in my car anytime I want and go anywhere I want, and I can take my dog to doggy daycare so I don't have to worry about leaving him in the car when I go to the cat cafe. I look at what's working. What is working out for you? That's your fuel. That's your mana. That's your creative mojo. That's your juju for you being able to create more of that. More of what you want, overflow of what you want, comes from already experiencing, already celebrating what's working out, right? I love listening to you share your perspective and wisdom. Thank you, Kimberly. It's very nice that you tuned in. Thanks for watching. So does this make sense? That the urgency that you feel to heal it all, do it all, be it all now, it's a trauma response where you are being subservient to the mind and its consciousness trap of being stuck in time, instead of being a servant of the heart that knows that you are limitless. You are boundless. You are not bound by time. You're not even bound by this body, not really. You're not bound by the mind. You exist beyond the mind. You exist beyond the body. You exist beyond your environment. You exist beyond time. So let's act appropriately, shall we? Love and peace.